Well, hello and welcome to another episode of Joy and Gratitude. I'm here with my co-host, with Beth and Nio, and we are ready to talk about the issues that keep everybody up at night that they didn't know kept them up at night. Beth, what are we going to talk about today?
Yeah, I love it. I love it. Pausing myself on the word love. We are going to talk about love and empathy and how they play a role in our lives. And fundamentally, you and I talk a lot about coming from a heart led place, coming from a place of love. And selfishly, I have partly chosen this topic because I have to keep grounding myself in love. And I have been finding that in my own practices of yoga, mindfulness, oftentimes we dedicate, whether it be, dedicating a yoga practice or, creating some sort of a mindfulness where we get really centered on a particular word. And I have really been choosing love quite a bit to want to come back to a place of centeredness around being loving. And that is not always easy. It is not always the first choice. And I think it is really something that we can choose to be intentional about. But in order to do that and to come from a place of love and compassion, I think empathy can often play a really critical role in helping us to get back to love. I mean, fundamentally, I think we all have capacity to be loving humans, no question. We just can get thrown because of many, many, many different things. But what I want to talk about is the interrelationship between love and empathy, and how empathy can bring us back to love if we get distracted, let's say, by some other things that might be happening in our lives.
This is an excellent topic. And it's an excellent topic because it is grounded on neuroscience.
Mm,
Reality is that we um, use from 5 to 10% of our consciousness. And then everything else goes into unconscious behavior, patterns, if you will. And the the fact that you said, I am using the word love to center myself into mindfulness, into core, into all the different things, that is a conscious effort, that's intentional, and that actually makes your empathy grow.
mm,
Because now empathy is the action associated with love to get you to love. It's the love connector. And the more that you consciously make that happen, the more that you will be in the love flow. And I'm using very simple words because it just gets ridiculous when you start with all the technical. The thing about love is, we say choice, but it's not choice, it's a decision, which is very different than choice. It
mm,
is a conscious decision that you have to make based on different factors that you hold valuable in a person, in a thing, and so on. So if that person, thing, or object meets your expectations or aligns with your pattern, you then release love. And empathy is the ability to see things that warrant love and take the action to grace them with your nature of wanting to give and care. Now, the extent of the action depends on the situation, but that's the way you see empathy. Why do we cry in a movie? We cry because we connect with that which we hold dear, and it makes us release that we wish we could do something, take
mm,
an action for that child, that situation, whatever. And Empathy allows us to actually see ourselves in the position of the other person or assume how you would feel if it were you. But everything comes back down to conscious and unconscious. Have we made the conscious decision that this is valuable? I hate the air quotes, but it really works here. Um, Enough for you to care. And the worst part about it is there are many people that do not, truly do not care, do not wish to spend themselves and care about loving. They've made the opposite conscious effort to limit the amount of empathy that they have and look at things in black and white terms and how it benefits them. And if it doesn't benefit them, again, it all goes back to the values, then there is no empathy. It doesn't matter what happens to that situation, that individual, that dog, whatever, because there's no value there. So it's what we value, what we care about, what we see worthy. That is who we love. That is what we love. And empathy is the action that we first demonstrate before we take it to the next level, which is true love.
That was really incredible for you to bridge that. I love this idea of empathy as the love connector. You said it's the love connector. And this, you really broke it down so beautifully and in a digestible way to be that you have a value that you are putting on something in order for you to. So when you mentioned that some people, instead of opening, we said centered in love or grounded in love, instead of opening themselves up to value love in a abundant and large way, they restrict themselves. I only have X amount of love to give, or I'm only going to give my love to this particular genre of people. I mean, that's where I went. So when you saw me go, I thought, yeah, I mean, it makes total sense. I don't know that it's been spoken about in that way to me before. There could be plenty of
Mhm.
people listening that have thought about it like that. I see it so clearly as you say it that we are putting a personal um, our personal touch on what we choose to extend our love to or who we choose to extend our love to. And that the more empathetic we are,
Mhm.
the more we can connect in love. And therefore, I loved that you made it a step. Like, first, you need to be empathetic. And then from that place where you can put yourself in their shoes, where you can want to extend love and support, then you can go to true love. That felt really beautiful and um, simplistic in a way. As much as it's not simplistic,
Mhm.
that piece felt pretty simple. Like,
Yeah.
yes, how do you become more loving? You start with empathy and understanding and a desire to understand, and that then will lead you to more abundant loving.
Yeah. And the reason I didn't use a lot of people, if you would go and research, the word intentional is all over this conversation.
Mm,
And the fact of the matter is that it's not intentionality, it's conscious decision making.
mm,
Um, and and come with me on this journey. You have a situation that happens to you. There's so many lenses of how you can handle that situation. You can handle the situation in anger. You can handle the situation in fear. You can handle the situation in curiosity. You can handle the situation in just numbness.
Mm.
Now, of all of them, the most interesting one is curiosity because it gives you the opportunity to see all the different facets of the situation, cueing empathy where it belongs,
Mm.
and releasing any negativity that you may have, letting you move forward into action. And that's a natural process where intentionality means that you skip that whole process and you just went and made an intentional effort. And reality is humans need to process. They can't just be intentional about everything. Before you get to intentional, you must process. And then you're ready for action, and then it becomes an intentional action. So you first have to have that curiosity. You must process. Hopefully, you're looking at all the facets. You're releasing what that isn't yours. You're taking in what you can control, and then you move into the action.
I have so much to say, but what's really resonating for me is if we start with the people I, that we're supposed to love, or the people that are easiest to love, they're in our lives frequently, whether that be a partner, a spouse, a friend, a child, right? There's relationship already there. And hopefully they're loving. Not always, but let's ground ourselves in there's a relationship that's loving. What I am interested in taking away from what you said is in the moment that there's someone that you have a foundation of love with, it exists. I
Mhm.
love this person. I love this human. But they do or say something that angers and frustrates and alienates you, whatever it is, and you get this really the ick, the like I'm not comfortable here. In that moment, can we practice getting curious? Because I believe you to be 100% right that this best case scenario, curiosity leads us to empathy and love.
Mhm.
But it's hard to do that on the big scale if you're not in practice of it already. And I
Yes.
would say to you, I'm just starting right now with the people that I have a foundation of love and they do something that is like, woo, like I just don't understand. And I would say maybe as I'm talking to you, I'm feeling like when I'm in awe or frustrated, it's usually because I really don't understand. Something seems very clear to me. I've created my own value judgment and I've been like, I do not, or whatever it is, I'm upset and I don't understand. In that moment that you feel that way, the brave thing, and I don't mean to say because it takes bravery and courage to go, what part of this is mine? You gave this
Mhm.
beautiful example where you pushed off to the side what's yours and right that you need to move off of. That piece, when you're upset and you don't understand, and something from a loving relationship is awry, that's where you get to practice. And you get to go, I don't understand. Can you help me understand? Can you get curious? Because you care enough to hold that loving relationship and know that there's movement together in that space. That's where you can do it. And it is not easy. And I am in massive practice of this right now, which is rather than lash out, I was really good at lashing out when I was frustrated and didn't understand something. I would just really just start yelling what I thought to be true because being right half the time is more important to most people than actually understanding why the other person doesn't agree with you or believe what you believe. So going, okay, wait a minute. What I believe doesn't have to be right. Maybe there is another version. Maybe there's somebody else's version. And I should be really curious about what that person's version is since we're all unique individual humans. Practice with the people where you already feel a foundation of love and ask those hard questions. Can you help me understand why you feel that way? Or maybe someone's really mad at you and they're lashing out at you. And you have to then say, can you help me understand why I'm making you so mad? What about this interaction is upsetting you so much? So that you learn what your role may or may not be. That piece, not easy. Still, I would say to you, daily work for me is to go, I'm having some kind of a moment and I need to understand why, and I'm going to spend a little time getting curious. Sometimes with just myself, sometimes I need to just walk away and go be somewhere and go, what is going on for me right now? Is it anger? Is it sadness? What's happening for me that I literally, for me, I'm an escapist. So like if I just want to run away, that's the moment I go, I'm having a reaction where I just want to run away. Okay, I should probably figure out why. What about whatever just went down is making me literally want to physically run away for a long period of time? So that's a cue. So I get part of this conversation, I guess, is I'm trying to say, how do we get tuned in enough to find that cue that says, this is a moment and an opportunity to get curious. I'm going to learn something new about myself or about this other human that may increase my capacity to be empathetic, give myself some grace, give the other human grace, and move and increase the size of the love pie.
Here's the deal. You have to want love. You just have to want love in your life. And you want to give it
Mm,
beyond just receiving it. See, the bitterness starts with people that want to receive love, but have never given a thought to wanting to give it. You've made a very amazing decision that you want to love your group, your people, right? You want to love them well. You want to love them worthy, with respect. You want to love them fully. That is a decision that you've made and you're invested in it because you want love. Many of us don't know what love is. Many of us have not um, had the opportunity to receive love in our childhood and never were able to make those connections. So, as we people up and deal with people from all walks of lives, all different um, societies, and so on, we have to understand that love means something different to every single person.
mm,
So, why even say all this? Because the foundation is that curiosity. You first have to learn. We went through the whole phase. I have no idea why I'm air quoting, but the phase that everybody had a love language.
mhm,
Remember?
mhm. Oh, yeah.
People walk in, my love language is giving, my love language is cooking, my love language is yada, 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 yada. Why was that important? Because we were curious about each other. We were curious about how we connected in loving each other. It gave us that opportunity to pause and be curious about each other.
Yes.
And more importantly, it gave us the opportunity to say, this is how I accept love. And this is how I release love. Wow. The keys to the kingdom were exchanged by love language because love is different for everybody. And love does require work. It's not easy. If you're married, you know there has never been a month that you have not planned that other individual's murder. Or it could be just me.
That wasn't exactly where I thought you were going, but that's very funny. I get you.
Okay,
That's funny.
maybe not full murder, but maybe a little maiming or, a punch in the throat, something that that person has taken you to that point of no return that you're so angry at them. And by the way, that only happens with them because you love them
Mm,
and you
mhm,
have such high expectations of them and you don't understand how they would dare cross the line with you because they know you inside and out. But at the same time, even though you had that moment that you said to, if I had a gun, even though you thought, and then you said to yourself, no, getting rid of the body's too hard. Um, I'm talking about myself way too much. Anyway,
that was fun.
even though those things have happened, there's also that moment that you look at them and they are the most precious, most incredible thing the person you've ever seen. And you just are so happy that they're yours. And you have that moment and they're precious. And you have the other moments that you kind of ignore each other. You have the moment that you plan the murder, but you don't know how to get rid of the body. So they remain. What I'm trying to say, love is a roller coaster.
Mhm.
We have to release and return. And we have to release and return. And in the middle of that motion, back and forth, there's love. It's that simple.
It's so compelling, and I will say your reference to love languages, obviously in coaching, we use it a lot, and it's a book, 5 Love Languages. So for those
Mhm.
people that are listening, if you haven't checked out that book, I think Neo and I both say you should because it is just the first beautiful step of understanding yourself and the people you most care about and how they love to, and it's so good to receive and to give love. And when you were talking about a moment where you held your hands towards your heart and said, you see someone you love who knows you so well, and you think how precious they are, and you feel, honored to receive love from them, and you love them so much. I will say, the moments those happen for me now are when my husband Michael does something that is his love language, but I now recognize it. So one of his love languages is acts of service. So he
Mm.
loves to do things. Now,
Yes.
that's not my love language. So when he's like doing all of these things for me, a lot of them I don't even see them, right? They're not important to me because that's not how I feel love. I don't receive love because somebody does a task, goes shopping for me, goes to the dump for me, takes care of me in ways. But for him, that is 100% how he gives his love. And for me, in that moment of feeling that preciousness, it's when I remember, when I go, wait a minute, this to me is not how I receive love. But I have to remember, especially on a day where maybe I'm doing a million things and I'm off center and I just step and I realize that he's done like 5 things. And
Mhm.
those things again, they're acts of service, they're tasks, but they were all in support of me not having to do these things so that I could be in whatever I needed to be in. Some days I don't notice that and I just still get frustrated because he's not loving me in the way I want to be loved, right? That I want to just have somebody just come over and sit with me and be with me. And I'm very much a quality time person. So knowing that though is a game changer. I think you just said it. It's that first step of going, now I can appreciate him in how
Mhm.
he loves me. It doesn't mean I still don't want him to know how I like to be loved, and
That's right.
that's the best thing. If we fundamentally do what you said, which is get really curious about the people in our lives and how they want to receive love and how they show their love, and we understand that, then we are in the flow of love. We are connected in love. And that is what is empathy, right? Because in a way, it's sort of saying, even if I think about the example I just used with Michael and our love languages, I can be empathetic to, oh, this is him giving me love. This is him loving me his hardest because it's how he knows how to do it. Right.
That's right.
So, and then I can receive it differently. It feels so different once I go, oh, right. This is Michael loving me at his best, in the way that's most comfortable for him. So we've come right back to that, which I empathy is a love connector, curiosity is a love builder, and love overall as being something you need to want in order to give.
Absolutely. You have to want it. Otherwise, it's not going to be in your ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
It's not going to be a valuable asset, a necessary core value.
Mm.
All those things will not resonate with you because you have no interest in it. And you've met that person. They're out there. And, you know, with them, those are the ones you want to do the best act of kindness so that they can realize that there's more to life than what they have put themselves in a safety place so they don't have to deal with the emotions of love.
Mm.
Um, you know, love is vulnerable. It really is getting yourself to a point of true vulnerability and being okay with it. That's the whole thing. Vulnerable is only good when you are okay with that decision to be vulnerable. Otherwise, it's a lot of work.
Mm.
And it's painful. It's not comfortable and it's just painful. But I really believe that the older we get, the more that we start becoming more able to love than when we're younger. And the reason for it is when we're younger, we're developing and we are extremely selfish. And it's only through once you get over being in your parental home that they care for you, that you start understanding that you have responsibilities in relationships just as much as the other person.
Mm. So true.
Yeah, love's a journey.
Love is a journey.
So, with that, the song. The song. I gotta find the artist, but I do have a song that actually keeps coming back to me. I think I used it one time before. But if you listen to the words, it really talks about how love flows throughout you. And the name of the song is I Release to Return.
Mm.
And it's by Good Vibes Tribe. And it is just this incredible song that talks about how, in order for me to give and receive love, I first have to release and give it out. And then it returns to me. And in the cover of the CD, there's a beautiful woman in this pose.
Mm.
And it's just such an open and beautiful pose. It's such a powerful song. If you haven't heard it, it will make you dance. It will make you just feel freedom. And to me, that's all love. Let's see what we have in the gratitude box.
See.
Ooh,
Beautiful
that's pretty.
cobalt blue. And the word is trust.
Can't have
So
one without it.
can't have love without it. You mentioned vulnerability. I mentioned figuring out your role in a relationship and where there's value, where are your values and how do they line up? All of that comes back to trusting ourselves, trusting the
Mhm.
relationship that we're in, trusting humans, truthfully,
Yes.
trusting humankind to say that fundamentally more of us want love and are on our love journey for
Yes.
receiving it and giving it than not.
Yep.
Trust that.
Completely agree. Wow. I hope you loved this episode as much as we love talking about it. And we love sharing with you. We love being a part of some moments of your life. And we take it very, very seriously. So thank you for joining us in Joy and Gratitude. And please do so again in another episode in the future.